All right, what's up? It is Tim Sykes. It's the weekend. I was trying to take a day off from video lessons, but there's just too much to talk about, too many questions, and I just want to really answer everybody with this visual video lesson. I think it's very useful for all of you. As you might know, Friday was a huge winner for me, buying WATT in the 550s. And when I say huge winner for me, I sold it way too soon. I only made like 20, 25 cents a share. I got freaked out by this spike and then the failure to spike. And, only like 3 minutes after I sold did it really keep spiking. But the reason why I say it was such a big winner for me is because I was first to spot the news. I was first to tell pretty much the whole world that this thing could really short squeeze. Newsletter after newsletter after newsletter after chat room, bought later, in the sixes, 630, 650, 7. And I am very proud that I was, first. Normally, I don't like to be first. Normally, I like to wait. But with this situation in particular, I thought that, it was good to be first. And I'm still trying to calculate how many students profited. There's a lot of you guys, and I actually bought it into the close here around 6:15, just a small position because it was holding 6. Remember, pre-market, or not pre-market, but morning, it could not break 6 for a little bit, and that turned out to be the top. When it broke 6, it never went under 6. So 6,605 is huge, huge, huge support right now. This is a hard hit stock. I have no expectations thinking, oh, this is going to go to 7, 8, 9. It's up on rumors of an Apple deal. There's a pretty good case. These guys make this wireless charging technology. They've kind of been low key lately, which is usual of companies that work with Apple, unfortunately. They can't say anything, but they have said that they're working with one tier 1 manufacturer. So is it Apple? Is it Samsung? We don't know. We probably won't find out anytime soon. But there's enough articles circulating this weekend. And this technology probably is the single biggest technology that I can think of from a consumer standpoint, where I think that this run up, especially given the volume and how it held 6, it's probably going to have some more legs, to the mid 6s or high 6s or even the 7s next week. So that's why I rebought a small position. But more importantly, I wanted to show you, how to spot this quickly. I showed this, I should have made this clear. This is the new StocksToTrade beta. This is coming out February 15th. That's when it'll be available to everybody. Right now, there's just roughly 150 of my trading challenge students who are beta testing it. And even they don't have all the features yet. It's my mistake because we keep adding new features every single day leading up to the release. So this little feature right here where, you can see the news pre-market, this is what alerted me to this. This function is not necessarily on all of those people who are being beta tested. This is a new feature we're going to be adding in the next few days. You can see the news, you can see right down here in the news. But on the chart, this is new, and we're starting to add all sorts of cool things. So very excited for you to see StocksToTrade beta, but it's my mistake yesterday. I posted this on Facebook that everyone had access to this. And this is kind of my secret weapon. Part of the reason why I was so early is because I had, frankly, better technology than any other chat room or newsletter out there because of StocksToTrade. And I don't realize how far ahead this technology is compared to what everyone else is using. So it's kind of funny how far ahead I was. Normally, I'm not first. I don't ever really aim to be first. But it just seems so clear as day to me in the mid 5s before, everyone else kind of saw what I saw in the mid 6s. So I didn't necessarily time it right at all on my own personal trade, but I'm glad that I alerted the chat room. And, even right now, the chat room, I should mention, there's roughly 124 people in here on the weekend talking a little bit, but you guys need to be in the chat room, okay? You need to be in the chat room this coming week on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at the market open, because this is what's been happening pretty much every day in the past, month, really. There's been some morning spiker, and I've nailed a few of them dead on. I've been early on some, I've been late on some. The point is that whether it's me or, normally we have around 1,300 people now in the chat room when it's market hours. I'm filming this on a Saturday night. Yeah, look at me. Look how cool I am. This is how dedicated I am. I couldn't stop thinking about this, so I just wanted to get it out in a video lesson. I'm going out in a little bit. I'm not that boring on a Saturday night. It's really Saturday afternoon. I'm on West Coast right now. But the point is, be in the chat room Monday morning between 9 a.m., 9:15 a.m., and definitely 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Whether it's me or one of the other 1,300 people, we're all looking for percent gainers. We're looking for breaking news. There's no other chat room that has this many millionaires and this many people just alerting nonstop. So use the chat room as your very own watch list. So I'm very excited and proud to have the biggest chat room. And this is my little thing on the left-hand side. You guys don't have that, but in case you were wondering, I can basically post something on my wall, send an email, post it to Twitter, send a text message, and I get to choose the different newsletters. So this is how I communicate with everybody. My thanks to my Egyptian magician programmer, Mike, for creating this awesome software. But also, I got to thank all of you guys for all the amazing feedback with the Steve Harvey interview. Thanks again to Michael Good and Ivan Barreto for coming, two of my students. It wasn't easy necessarily to get to Chicago with just a few days heads up, but they did, and I gave them some good food as a little reward. But it was just an awesome experience, and thank you guys for all of the incredible feedback with this Steve Harvey thing. I actually discovered something. Steve Harvey made a mistake with me and my students. Watch the video again and see if you can see the mistake he made. I don't know if he's if he's destined to make mistakes now all the time, or if he was joking, or I didn't even notice that he made a mistake until several of you who have watched the video have pointed it out. So watch the whole video again if you haven't already, or watch it twice and see the mistake. It's actually pretty funny. I'm running errands today. I posted this, this is me and my puppy Miley. She got in the way of this shot. But I'm driving around all over LA doing errands. I just got back to do this video lesson. But that's my Saturday. I'm so proud of this guy. This is Billy. He just had his most successful month. He's dedicated, and now he has a pretty sweet car, and his kids are living it up. So I love it. But more importantly, what is he doing on weekends so that he can afford a car like this? Well, this is what he says. This is where the magic happens. So he's spending his Saturday watching video lessons because he's a Penny Stocking Silver subscriber. So he has access to 3,500 plus video lessons. And he's going back and he's looking at all of this. And trust me, there's so many golden nuggets in these video lessons. I know I can rant for a little bit, but at the same time, there's so much history of pumps and how to spot morning spikes and when to short sell. A lot of you guys banked shorting WATT from the 7s down to the 6. I'm not a big fan of shorting morning spikers on Fridays that have low floats. They tend to go further than you think. And I think that this secondary spike from 640 up to roughly 730 was caused by shorts who were shorting in here in the high 7s or the high 6s and the mid 6s, and they got squeezed for one more spike. So it's very difficult to short a low float runner, especially on Fridays, especially in January. Watch my Tim Tactics DVD, watch my Tim Raw DVD. You'll see these morning spikes can go a lot further. And, if you look at a lot of the most successful, quotes, most successful traders who trade these stocks, a lot of them blow up and lose a shitload of money when they short these morning spikes. And, they're all excited. Look, I shorted it. I saw people shorting this here like 680 and they're like down to 655 and they're like, awesome, nailed it, covered. And they made 25 cents a share. Meanwhile, the thing is up nearly fucking $2 a share from my buy alert. Like, you have to be long biased on low float runners on Fridays. You have to be. Otherwise, the risk reward is just terrible. Even if you do profit your 10, 20 cents or, if you capture this dollar. I think that this can spike again. So we will see. Pretty much every low float runner that we've seen has been able to spike for at least the second morning. And if this thing starts gearing up, it's already in the 630s, so I'm already up 20 cents on my overnight position, small position. But if this thing starts heating up and more people see about the Apple rumors, and even if Apple isn't the case, they're probably working with Samsung. It's going to be tough. I think it's going to be tough for this thing not to spike at least a little bit. So that's my overnight play. But props to Billy. I got to give him props. I also have to give props to Michael. He says, I tweeted this, what are you doing today to avoid it being just another lazy Saturday? I'm here to remind you of the greatness you have in you. And a lot of people look at this with negativity. And, I'm glad some of you look at it with positivity. Every single person watching this video can be great. I don't care if you have $100 to your name, if you have $1,000 in your name, if you have $10,000 or $100,000 to your name. The starting amount does not matter. Okay? I know it's frustrating when you have a small account. I'm trading with just 12,000 this year. Okay? It took me, you saw all the video lessons, hopefully, from January where, I had pattern day trader issues, I had margin issues. Now I have a free riding restriction. And all the while, I grew my 12,000 to 14,000 over the course of the month. It's not just about making the money. It's about overcoming obstacles and being the best you. So when other people are lazy Saturdays, oh, let me just drink or play video games or sleep. No days off if you truly want it. If you truly want to be successful, you got to study. So I'm very proud of Michael. He's studying my How to Make Millions DVD. This is 35 hours long. And it's not just me, it's also several other millionaire students and traders. It's everything I know about the market. So if you haven't watched that, watch it. It's especially useful for understanding catalysts and how to spot plays and stuff like that. I also got to give props to Leroy. There's so many people contacting me, I can't even keep up. Leroy tweeted this to me today. He bought, while he was at work, and he said, even a busy day at work, I made some gains, and he bought it at 581 and sold it at 662. So he actually traded it better than I did. He sold it at much higher prices, and he's at work. And even though it's just 100 shares, he's on the right track. This is a big part of why I have more millionaire students than anybody. It's not just about the gains. It's about being on the right track and seeing how to do this. Next year, he'll have a few of these trades under his belt, ideally, maybe a few dozen, and maybe he'll have 1,000 shares. And you buy 1,000 shares and you sell it, and now he's making $800 as opposed to just $80. So think about that. Be on the right track. I also have to give weekend props to Mark Crook. He's one of my Trading Challenge students, and now he's also one of the Trading Challenge students who gives webinars. And he does video lessons and trade alerts exclusively for Trading Challenge students, but he just had a massive profit on WTW. He's actually using my patterns more with options now, and he's teaching about options to you guys in the Trading Challenge and in some of his webinars. So fantastic. He's up now. Did he cross 500,000? Or is he's right around 500,000 in profits. I went to his wedding a few months ago. It was beautiful. He moved to Miami. Look at this chart. Just absolutely beautiful, and he's just going to keep growing. I think $9,000 is one of his biggest profits in a while. He's at $491,000 in profits. And, slowly but steadily, he is moving up. So props to Mark Crook. He just moved to Miami Beach, too. He posted a picture a little while ago of his new office. So that was awesome. And then also, I love this. Evan Schlang, he said, made my day when I bought Watt right before a trade alert came from my mentor, and he loved me watching me on the Steve Harvey show. This is what I want out of all of you. Never, ever, ever, ever follow any alerts from anybody else, okay? In chat rooms, on social media, wherever you talk to other traders, just talk to them and use their tips or plays or alerts or whatever as a potential trade, as a watch list for you, And Evan has been a very dedicated student for several months now, and he is learning to be self-sufficient. All of my millionaire students are self-sufficient. This is what I told, Steve Harvey. I really wish they had an unedited version of the Steve Harvey, because we filmed literally for hours, and they had to edit it and cut it down to fit into his 1-hour show. But that is what I'm most proud of. I'm not just telling people to buy a stock and everyone buys the stock and that's why it spikes. No, most of the time, I'm actually do better on my shorts than on my longs if you look back at my trades. It's about, sensing this and understanding the catalyst and making your own trades. And I love that Evan, bought before me. Hopefully he sold after me too. I don't know if he even sold at all. But this is awesome. This is what I want to see more of. So Never ever follow my alerts, never follow anyone's alerts. They're all ideas and they're all for your education so that you can learn to structure your own trades and become self-sufficient. And one more student to give props to. This is Brian. He shorted AMDA in the 335s and covered at 265. And this was on my watch list. I also gave a short alert in the chat room on Friday. I couldn't find shares to short at Interactive Brokers. You know, my old high net worth broker had shares to short, but I don't even trade with him right now this year. So congrats to Brian. And congrats to a lot of you guys who shorted AMDA. You know, AMDA and TRXC are both good shorts too. So there's longs and there's shorts. It's going to be a busy week. So remember, go to the chat room on Monday morning, okay? This is why I'm making this weekend, because I want to reinforce this. Hopefully you watch this before Monday, or even if you watch it on Monday, you know, be in the chat room every weekday near the market open. There is no other chat room that has this many traders. There's no other chat room that has this kind of technology, thanks to our hardworking programmers. And, you know, when Stocks to Trade comes out in a few weeks, you're going to see some pretty amazing things going on. But for right now, be in the chat room. This is your single best resource, I think, for finding potential plays. And I'm not saying follow anyone's alerts. I'm not saying trust anybody, because there's a lot of sketchy people everywhere. You know, we're banning some people here and there. It's not like, oh, every single person in here is a millionaire. Every single person in here knows everything. It's all for idea generation. You know, it's better to have 1,300 pairs of eyes looking for potential plays, especially when they have the same kind of idea with, you know, what catalysts and what kind of news can spike a stock. And the beautiful thing, somebody asked me this question today, you know, aren't you afraid if you have so many students and they're all trading the same stock, you're going to get crowded? I had hoped that would happen. When I first began teaching, I really did. You know, when I began teaching a few years ago, I was like, I'm cursed by these patterns. You know, I can't like do anything without thinking about these plays. And I feel guilty because I capture such a small portion of the potential profits. You know, hopefully you guys are seeing that. You know, Watt was a prime example where I nailed the buy and I totally screwed up the sell. And yet somehow I've still made over 4 million. So when I got into teaching, I was like, okay, one of two things are going to happen. One, you know, I'm going to teach everybody and everyone's going to do the same kinds of trades and the patterns are going to stop and collapse and I'm going to be free of these freaking patterns so I can live and be, you know, normal again. Or two, you know, it's going to take very long time for me to pass down my teachings. And meanwhile, you know, at least my students will do better than me because they'll have kind of an understanding of these patterns and they'll have someone who's guiding them, because I never had any guide. I'm totally self-taught. And that sucks because I had to learn the hard way. And a lot of the patterns and a lot of the rules that I've learned are kind of like, you know, if I was like on this, like an island, you know, growing up, and I've created my own laws and my own rules and my own ideas without any supervision, without any outside influences, like the old movie Blue Lagoon, right? I'm like freaking Brooke Shields and that blonde-haired guy on the island, and what I think is not necessarily reality. So you can use what I've learned and what I've experienced to create your own rules, to create your own patterns, and you see what I do right, you see what I do wrong. I'm very far from a perfect trader. And I think that a lot of you guys are seeing that. And I'm not ashamed to admit it. You know, I know that I look like a jackass and, you know, I sell too soon sometimes. I sell too late sometimes. But at the same time, I don't think anybody in the world is as transparent as I am with all my mistakes and my screw ups. And hopefully you can use that to learn to get better. And I think that's why we do have the biggest chat room, bar none. You know, we're crushing the competition. You know, Steve Harvey is only going to help us grow. So I'm excited to see how this chat room evolves. Remember, just use it for idea generation. We're trying to find hot stocks. And the beautiful thing is, you know, not everyone trades the same way. So I could tell you all a pattern that works. And what I found is that 50% of people still don't believe me and they bet against me. So some people are betting on the pattern, some people are betting against the pattern, and it's a market. So I did not collapse the patterns like I kind of wanted to, but the beautiful thing is that, the education has taken on a life of its own. And, thanks to stuff like, these new tools that Mike has been creating for us, where you can post your own blog post, your own watch list, and you can even make your own video lessons now. The community is stronger than ever as we head towards nearly 100,000 traders and investors on Profitly. We're 85% of the way there. So it's just awesome. And I'm really looking forward to creating more millionaires. So be in the chat room on Monday and every weekday, and on the weekends and at night. You can study these video lessons in webinars. And part of the thing is, it's not just about finding the hottest stocks or being prepared with the patterns. You have to have the right mindset. If you make 15, 20, 30, 40 cents a share on a trade and it goes up $1, $2, $3, $4, I see people like berating themselves, like, you're stupid, you're stupid. Stop being so hard on yourself. Remember, 90 to 95% of traders lose money, okay? I don't want to sugarcoat this for you. I don't want to be like, oh, look at our chat room. All 1,300 people are making money. No, most people are losing money. Not just in my chat room, not just on my newsletter, but everywhere, because trading is fucking tough. So don't beat yourself up if you make a mistake, and do congratulate yourself if you have a solid trade, if you take the meat of the move, long or short, and, ideally gradually grow your account and be part of the 5 or 10% of us who consistently profit. And we keep learning, we keep adapting. You never are smart enough to stop studying and stop preparing, because the moment you lose the eye of the tiger, you got to fight just to keep it alive. Oh yeah, I'm pumped up. I got to go work out. See ya.